it's me again. Today's date is October 6th, 2022. It's a Thursday. Let me preface this video by saying this is in no means intended to be financial advice. This is my own personal journey. You are just watching one bird's thoughts. Hence, I wear a bird costume. Are you not entertained? And yesterday, pre-market, the new... Sorry about that, my dogs are in here. They came on in. Yesterday, pre-market, the latest S-1 filing came out, as pictured here. As you can see, it's number 2, amendment number 2. The dates, as you can see here, for the record date are still blank. What changes were made to this S-1? You could do a side-by-side comparison. I'll give you like the basic cliff notes and what pertains to you. I'll discuss that the S-1 talks more about the well operating agreements than the previous S-1, which is interesting. Why would the SEC comment on well operating agreements? This could be because maybe they were asking questions about wells. I will cite this exhibit here on the S-1. Thank you to the person who pointed this out to me. She was very kind. And it states that, of course, if the asset is not producing, it is not listed. Assets that are producing, in our case for Torchlight Energy, the only asset which was producing was the Hazel project, but all of that money goes to Masterson and McCabe due to the pre-existing agreement that was done. It also prevents any oil sales from going on Meta's books. As I've discussed, Meta can't really have any oil sales on their books because they are a Canadian green company, and if you have oil and gas sales on your books, you are not considered a Canadian green company, and thus you do not qualify for a lot of the perks that come with such green company business status. As a result, it behooved Meta to just have the agreement between Masterson and McCabe for the oil and gas. Granted, it's not much, as you can see here on this report. Again, it reiterates, it's a recently dated article, it reiterates that the Oro Grande, of course, is going to have zero book value because it's not producing oil. I've cited this before with other ledgers. ConocoPhillips does it. When I did the ConocoPhillips ledger, I pointed that out. That was like a year ago at this point, that non-producing assets carry a $0 book value. They're not required to report it because it's not producing oil. Although that really doesn't affect you much. That's not going to affect you directly. Let's talk about what will affect you directly. As stated here, I'll pull it up. The clause that was in the previous S-1, which stated that trading will cease one day before the record date, has now been amended. There will be a record date and a distribution date. Trading will cease on the distribution date. So what does this mean for you? Consider it like it was the Torchlight preferred share, the T-2 days. It usually takes 2 days for your broker to settle trades or settle cash. It takes about 2 days. You'll see like a pending and then it's settled. It takes about 2 days to settle a trade. So go back to the old ways. You have a record date. It's going to read sometime 2022 and then T-2 days. But this is up to your broker. Some brokers take 2 days. Some brokers can do it in 24 hours. It depends how long your broker takes to settle those particular shares, getting MMTLP shares. What else pertains to you? On page 24, this is rather interesting. And I think this explains a lot of the price action today on MMTLP. As of making this video, we're at like $1.95 for MMTLP, which is great in this market for your portfolio. There is on page 24 an explanation talking about the law of supply and demand and how there is limited quantity of MMTLP. Notice specifically how it uses the ticker symbol MMTLP. and not preferred A. This is an official document using MMTLP, the ticker symbol. Well, here you go. There's an official document saying, yes, we acknowledge MMTLP, an official letterhead from Meta, filed with the SEC, no less, stating the ticker symbol MMTLP. This says that there is limited quantities of MMTLP. There's only 165.5 million shares. 165 million. There could be a substantial amount of people who owe either old Torchlight shares or MMTLP shares. And they might be margin called, and they might have to go get those shares at ridiculously high prices. Because the limited quantity price action of MMTLP can go up very quickly. Couple that with the fact that we're on the OTC market, and OTC market does not have the volatility halts that an exchange does, like NASDAQ. NASDAQ, NYSE can have volatility halts. NASDAQ's notorious for volatility halts. OTC doesn't have volatility halts. While it has other types of halts and cease tradings, it doesn't have any volatility halts. There's no circuit breaker that trips. It goes up very quickly, can go down very quickly. There's no way to stop the trading to allow market makers to catch up. This can work to our advantage. And there's a warning there about supply and demand, in case anybody suddenly forgot the economic rules of supply and demand. I have something you want. More people want it than what I have. Hence, I will raise my prices up. As a result, my personal starting price for MMTLP has increased. Personally, with my own shares, I was going to start selling MMTLP at $75. This morning, I increased that with my orders. I started setting about a few shares at 85. What's about a few? About a few. If you're from down south, about a few. Not all, not most, not half, not some, about a few. You have something green in this market. There's a lot of psychological factors that will play in that, it's not just supply and demand and economic functions. You have to take the human experience into account. Human experience. Hi, dogs. The puppy's down here. She's getting very big. The puppy went to the vet the other day, and she weighed 45 pounds, so she's getting big. But there is human experience involved in all of this. Especially with the market going down, this is like the nice shining green beacon in many of our portfolios. Hence, I think it will be attractive to a lot more people, and thus the price will increase because of the demand. I am very, very excited in what's to come, and I am looking forward to when this will be approved. How will we know the S1 is approved? You will see dates right here on this page. These dates will be filled in with something specific. I don't know what date that'll be because I can't tell you. I can't see the future. I'm not clairvoyant like that. But you will see dates when this is approved, saying the record date is now this date. Record date will be October 20th or November 5th or whatever. Whatever date they choose as a trading day. End of that day will be, record date. Price action for MMTLP going forward, it might do this until we see approval for the S-1a, which could be quickly or could not be. It might take a couple of weeks or it could take a week. I'm not sure. But I expect there to be a PR release from Meta once those dates are filled in. Once those dates are filled in, they'll release a PR saying, okay, the record date is now this date coming forward. Just remember your training. Know your emotions. I never say hide your emotions or don't trade emotionally. You can't do that. You can't. We're earthlings. We're humans. We're part of this human experience. If you go through the human experience, you can't not be emotional. That's That's not how we work. You're not Data from Star Trek, and you're not Spock from Spock had a lot of problems because they hide their emotions, I guess. But you're not like a Vulcan who thinks you're this cooler, higher being and you can like read people's minds. You experience emotions through the turmoils of others because you're too afraid to experience them firsthand yourself. So you do this weird secondhand living vicariously through other people's emotions, whatever. But we're human. Know your emotions. Take the time to recognize your emotions and be mindful. I guess the term for this is mindfulness, where you just pause for a minute and you think things through a little bit. Am I truly experiencing this emotion, or am I experiencing this because, somebody else is trying to influence me? Somebody else is trying to make me feel bad. That's going to run rampant in any social situation with people. So like I said, know your emotions. Okay, guys, that's it for today. I will see you soon. Goodbye.